And also there's another point that is important to bear in mind, is also that, you see, when you begin with practice, with meditation, it's very important not to, how do you say, it's how you go for meditation. Many people go to meditation with the idea of getting some experience. I know you get some experience from meditation, but you mustn't go to meditation to get some supernatural experience. If you go to meditation with that kind of an aim or with that kind of strategy, then you ask no trouble. Sometimes you notice that people really, people are kind of quite, how do you say, restless. But just to sit is quite restless. They want to get some kind of extraordinary methods to unblock and bring about. So people use very strong breathings, or they use screaming, or I don't know, they use drugs to bring some different states of consciousness. Yes, sure, they will come. These states will come because when when the right conditions come, they'll come. But the trouble is, you won't be able to cope with it. Because you see, you can have those experiences, but afterwards you land to your same self. Come back, then you have difficulty coping. A lot of the times also with the therapists or people who use, hallucinogenics or different methods, have quite difficulty. Like sometimes when you're on a tripping, you're just left on your own. It's difficult for people to guide you, particularly if the guide is not really, not experienced. Anyway, so there is that danger. I see there's a lot of, like for example, I was teaching in a big conference in Hagen in Switzerland with many therapists. So I saw this point, that the first issue, before your ego has been well integrated and grounded, you must not get into like a transpersonal experiences or get into the state of seeing different state of spiritual. It's very important to ground yourself. That's why in Buddhism, first stress is on simple practice of meditation, watching the breathing, to finding that kind of, that sanity and that integration, so that the ego is kind of well integrated, or well, tamed, or you understand? Once that's done, then when you have the higher experiences come, then one becomes less, confused, because one has more experience, one is more human, one is more understanding how to cope with experience. So the experiencer must be equally, trained or ready. That's why in Buddhism, that why sometimes one notices that sometimes students are a little bit impatient because they don't give you the advanced practices straight away, or they don't give you so it's because of that. And that's why also in Tantra that one must first begin with the practice of meditation, with the practice of realization of shunyata, and it is the basis for entering into the dimension of Tantra. Okay, that's what I'm trying to stress.
So firstly, with visualization. Today many Western doctors, as well as therapists, are using visualization. They recognize how beneficial it can be. It is like positive or creative thinking, but more how you use your emotions and imagination in a creative way.
You see, it's integrating yourself. There's an aspect of you which has not been worked or developed. It's through visualization, though you may enter into a kind of a different dimension of reality, not your everyday reality, but you enter into a different reality where you get in touch with those different aspects of you which has not been, worked with. That's why the visualizations are very useful. Like for example, when you work with healing, like with cancer for example, with healing, even many therapists, many modern doctors are using different visualization methods for curing cancer, and there has been a certain amount of success with that too.
The Tibetan for visualization is Kirim.
Kirim.
Kir is to generate. What do you generate? Firstly, you must have a seed from which you generate, and arriving at that seed, or Buddha nature, is through purification, like meditation, and the realization of egolessness. From that, you get...
See, the main point is first, before you generate, you must have something to generate from. You must find the seed. That's what, that understanding, like the realization of emptiness or shunyata, is the seed from which you generate.
So when you practice Tantra, it is always understood that you have realized egolessness, emptiness, and that you have compassion. Without that, you cannot practice Tantra. If you
one does practice also Tantra without all that, but strictly speaking, not possible. But however, we do it.
Without that understanding, visualization is just ordinary imaginary world.
You're creating more fantasies. Especially there's a danger if you're not well integrated. Then entering into the world of visualizations creates, much more, more fantasy. Can take you away from the reality more and more. But at the same time, what is very important to realize is that, you hear the stories of many great masters having visions of Buddha, having visions of Padmasambhava, having visions. How do the visions come? Come from visualization. When the visualization is well done, then the visions come. When the visualization is actualized, then the visualization appears in the form of visions. And then they prophesize you. They give you prophet. What do you mean by prophecy in the Tibetan sense? Lungten is they show you the way. They teach you, they guide you, they give you teachings. Actually, the Buddha can actually appear to you. If your visualization of Buddha is very good, then Buddha can actually appear to you and guide you. But at the same time, there's a danger that if you do not know the proper understanding of visualization, if you do not really know can relate properly, then you might have some Buddha appearing, but it's not the Buddha. It's called the ego in disguise, or the demonic. There are many such stories also.
What is it that you have to get in touch with? It is your personal experience of truth, or Buddha nature, or emptiness, and to that you have to give birth. That is why all tantric practices begin with the dissolving of all concepts and thoughts into the emptiness of truth.
That's why you just sit and you say like or sometimes, did I mention that sometimes in traditional sadhanas or during the initiations, the Vajra master takes the water, the purified water, and sprinkles like this. Symbolic, he says the mantra or the dharana, Om Sobha Hyuda Savadama Sobha Hyuda, which is the mantra that dissolves all concepts, everything into the inherent purity, which is the mother principle. Into the wisdom mother, into the matrix, into the mandala. Dissolve everything. Then from out of that, the pure visualization is created, generated. Did I mention that? You say it anyway.
You dissolve everything into emptiness, the purity, and get in touch with pure energy, which is called Vajra. Sometimes Tantric Buddhism is known as Vajrayana, the vehicle of Vajra. Vajra in Tibetan is Dorje, which means indestructible. The indestructible energy of enlightenment, the real pure energy of truth that is the basis of all. It is pure, but yet it does not have any characteristic, no concepts, no ideas. So you dissolve everything into that Vajra nature. Next is about the role of the teacher.
Just mention that.
So this is the role of the teacher according to the various jhanas. In the Hinayana, the teacher is seen more as an elder or a wise man. For example, in ancient times, there were villages which always had a chief, or an elder, or wise man. In the Mahayana, he is not just seen as a wise man who is aloof, but he's more close, he's a friend.
He's your spiritual friend, so therefore he's got some, say in your, since he's a really close friend, spiritual, he's got some say in you. He's got a little bit more responsibility, he's got a little bit, he's got a little bit,
In the Vajrayana, the teacher actually transcends that human level and begins to be the medium of energy.
It enters into the dimension of energy, dimension of mandala, and it becomes the medium of the channel. So as such, he becomes what's called Vajra Master. He becomes like the connector. Like the connector that would connect you. That's why he's the one who empowers, who transmits the power, who transmits that energy of Tantra. That's why in Tantra you have initiations, which are known as, actually initiation is more, more kind of a popular term, but traditionally it's not called initiation, it's called empowerment. The Sanskrit is called abhisthana or abhisheka, in Tibetan it's called wang, which is empowerment, empowering you.
When the Vajra Master empowers you, then your perception changes. You begin to relate with the energy of the Master, which is the key which opens the door of the mandala. Mandala is the universe seen from the tantric perception, the pure wisdom mandala. In Christianity, Jesus said, "Heaven is here on earth. You have eyes, but you do not see."
That was kind of reference to that, actually, no? Kingdom of heaven is virtually a mandala, really.
That I is the tantric pure perception. A great Buddhist master, Shantideva, said,
Okay, I think maybe we can stop there, I think, today. Do you want to go a little bit further? You want to go from that time. So, do you understand some main principles of Tantra? Okay. So then we can, do you want to go a little bit further or we stop here?
What do you mean, more concepts?
Concepts to undo the concepts. That's true. Huh? Huh?
Have you got some?
Huh? Was plenty. Plenty. I think we can stop there. To essentialize what I taught today is to give an overall vision of the all yanas leading to Vajrayana. The necessity of the previous experience in the earlier yanas in order to mature into the Tantra. Because the Tantric path is not the path of fruition into the fruit of Tantra. It's like already you are kind of ready at a certain level. So you work with the really fruit, you work with the seed, you work directly. So in order to do so, that the necessity of the previous yana is important, and then also understanding that is important. And then so one begins with meditation, realizing the egolessness and getting in touch with one's bodhicitta, and also the realization of emptiness, is the, like the seed from which, a basis from which the tantric practice begins. The kirim. And so I have been beginning to talk about kirim a little bit today. I began that. And also began to talk about the master in connection with that. Like for example, in initiations, empowerments, sometimes that mandala, like in Kala Chakra, the mandala is first hidden, then it's open, then master shows you. It's like symbolic of that, He opens the door. And then it is also said that the tantric teachings, only once you receive the empowerment initiation can one You can only practice after that. It's because that when you enter into that different dimension of energy through the transmission, then one can enter into that and work with that seed, that Buddha seed, which is this, Alright? So we will discuss with that tomorrow. Tomorrow we'll be discussing that seed, the Buddha nature, that seed of generation, and then how to arrive at that generation. Then we will talk about the mantra and the meditation, okay, in relation to Tantra. That's all. And tomorrow we will start at 7:30. As today, and also Friday the same, okay? It would be good if you can come to the three of them to have a more complete understanding of Tantra.